What's up, everybody? My name is Zach Pasquarello. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to transition from employee to self-employed bookkeeper. I'm in the middle of a 52-week series on my YouTube channel where I'm putting out new videos every week teaching you exactly how to start your own bookkeeping business. Last week, I talked about my social media marketing strategy for bookkeepers. If you didn't see it, you got to go check it out. And then next week, I'm going to be talking about 10 creative ways to find bookkeeping clients in 2025. Super excited for this series. But in today's video, we're going to be focused on how to transition from employee to self-employed, because it's not as simple as you think it might be. So if you want additional resources, like always, check out all of the links in the description of this video. I've got some free resources for you, and I've also got some paid resources for you. I've been doing this for 4 years. I've been running my own bookkeeping business. Everything I teach on my YouTube channel is everything I'm doing right now. I've got 85 clients paying me on average $500 per month. I love bookkeeping. I love talking about it. I love teaching other people. So if you want to support the channel, buy some of my resources. It's going to help you streamline and start and grow your own bookkeeping business. If you don't want to, no pressure. You also don't have to. You could probably learn, honestly, everything for free. It just might take a little bit longer. So let's dive right into it. First, you got to have a mindset shift. You got to start thinking like a business owner, not just an employee. I've got some couple examples for you. College resume versus relationships. As an entrepreneur, there's a lot of entrepreneurs, very successful entrepreneurs who never went to college. So they don't care where you went to school or what's on your resume, what your GPA was, what extracurricular activities you were in college. Don't get me wrong. Of course, some people might care about that. But generally speaking, entrepreneurs care less about that than job recruiters or the HR department at the job where you just had your last job interview. So start thinking about relationships over your college resume. Relationships and entrepreneurship and life in general are going to get you so much further than what you have on your resume. Office politics versus rough and rowdy getting things done. So as an entrepreneur, things are more simple. It's more like the wild, wild west. Like you have to kind of be rough and rowdy to be able to get things done. You've got to think creatively. There's not as much office politics. There's not a corporate ladder that you have to climb, not as much corporate jargon. It's more so like everyday life. Like entrepreneurs are just like you and me. They're just like regular people who you see at the grocery store. And it's not as politically correct as a corporate office might be. And then you also got to think you're going to be wearing multiple hats. You're not just performing your work duties or doing your professional skills. This is really applicable to accountants because at your last job, if you were an accountant, you were just doing accounting. But this mindset shift as an entrepreneur, you've got to be wearing multiple hats. And I know you've probably heard it before. It's so true. It's probably more true than what you might be thinking. You've got marketing, sales, operations, customer service, legal, tax. There's so many different things that go into running a business that you just don't realize. So start thinking about all the multiple hats that you might be wearing. And in the beginning, you can't necessarily hire people because you might not have the revenue to support hiring employees. So especially in those first 6 months, you're going to have to grind it out and you're probably going to have to do a lot of this work on your own. Number 1, mindset shift. Number 2, set up your business. This is kind of a blanket general statement. I'm not going to spend too much time because I'm sure you could watch another YouTube video that'll teach you generally how to start a business, but just keep in mind common things like registering your LLC, getting an EIN with the IRS. Side note, it's totally free. You don't need to pay anybody to get your EIN. You can do it in 10 minutes on the IRS website. Getting your LLC, that's not free. You're either going to need to pay an attorney or pay your state government or both, but the EIN is free. And then once you get your LLC and your EIN, then go to a local bank, set up a separate business bank account. You don't need to get an office. If you see here where I am, I'm in my house. I've been doing this for 4 years. I could definitely afford an office, but I don't have one because I don't need one. I'm a solo entrepreneur. I work remotely. I do everything out of the comfort of my own home. If you really want to get an office, that's cool. Go ahead and get an office. You don't need to get an office. All you need is a laptop and an internet connection. As a bookkeeper, that's it. Like, you don't need inventory, employees, equipment, an office, money. You don't need anything. Skills, you need a few skills, but seriously, you just need a laptop and an internet connection. So, number 2, set up your business, very general. Number 3, look into thinking about choosing a niche. Now, this is going to be kind of hard to think about when you're brand new because you probably have no idea what you're going to be doing. But let me give you a different twist on choosing your niche. And if it's pronounced niche, I'm sorry. I always call it niche. If that offends you, I'm really sorry. Niche, software and services. So you might be thinking, niche, who am I going to be working with? Maybe I want to be a bookkeeper just for trucking companies, or just real estate investors, or just advertising agencies, or just car dealerships. That's not necessarily what I'm talking about. There's a different way that you can have a niche as a bookkeeper. You can specify what type of software you're going to work with. As a bookkeeper, we use software. We use accounting software to do bookkeeping. There are a few options. I have seen QuickBooks Online seems to be the most popular. There's QuickBooks Desktop, Sage, Xero, Peachtree. I don't use anything but QuickBooks Online. If you're here in the United States, I would recommend look into QuickBooks Online. Consider that to be your specialty. Software, bookkeeping, accounting software can be complicated. So the reason you want to pick one is so that you can become an expert. If you try to work with 3 different types of software, you're going to get frustrated, overwhelmed, stressed out, and you will potentially do a bad job because it's hard to be good at 2 or 3 different types of accounting software. Compared to me, I only do QuickBooks Online, 40 hours every week, 4 years, more than 8,000 hours I have spent working in QuickBooks Online. I'm a QuickBooks expert. I know everything about QuickBooks Online because, not because I'm smarter than you or because I'm better than you, simply because I have put in the time. I put in the hours to learn QuickBooks Online, and I'm only able to do that because I don't work with any other software. I'll be honest with you, I made that mistake when I got started. I worked with other software, and I'm hoping that you can learn from my mistakes so that you can fast track to success and do better than me. That's the whole point. Services. So not only can you have a specialty in the software that you use, but you can also have a niche or a specialty in the services that you provide. There's 4 different things, in my opinion, what an accountant can do for a small business, a very small business. Bookkeeping, payroll, taxes, and fractional CFO services. I don't do taxes or payroll or CFO services. I only do bookkeeping. If you really want to do taxes, that's fine. You can do taxes, but if your goal is to get good at bookkeeping, I would encourage you consider not offering payroll and tax services. You might be concerned that people won't want to hire you because you're not a full package, and that might happen. But let me give you confidence. There are also business owners out there who would be willing to hire you just for bookkeeping, and the exact same concept applies. You will become a bookkeeping expert if you have a specialty. If you focus all of your attention on just bookkeeping, you'll get really good at it. You'll get really fast. You'll be able to onboard more clients, handle more work in less time, and make more money. So I recommend choose a niche, the software that you use, and the services that you provide. Pricing strategy. So whenever you're transitioning from an employee, you might have negotiated your salary one time, but now you are negotiating essentially your salary every time you onboard a new client. And that's challenging. So I would recommend develop a system for quoting new clients. Develop a pricing model. You might think that charging hourly is simple. It's actually not, because you've got to keep track of your time, which is complicated and takes more time. And then if you were to work more hours this month than you did last month, now all of a sudden you're trying to justify to your client why you spent more time working on their books this month compared to last month. And that just adds complication. And it makes you feel like a glorified employee. The whole point of being an entrepreneur is so that you're not bound by the limitations of time. You can leverage your time and make more money. So if you're working hourly, you just kind of feel like a glorified employee, really just like an independent contractor or a subcontractor. So I recommend don't work hourly. Charge a flat fee, fixed monthly rate. This is good for you and the client. It's good for you because you don't have to keep track of your hours, and it incentivizes you to get good at your job so that you can work more quickly, so that you can take on more clients and make more money in less amount of time. It's also good for your client because it gives them some consistency. They can better plan, they can budget for their monthly bookkeeping cost. I recommend keep it super simple. Minimum $200, maybe $300 per month, maybe even $500 per month minimum, depending on where you are. And then also, I've developed a system where I charge per transaction, which makes it really easy to quote. I can give anybody a quote if they send me their 3 most recent bank statements, and then very simply, I add up all of their transactions from the 3 most recent months. I add up all their bank transactions and credit card transactions, and that's the quote. Pretty simple. So in reality, I'm charging $3 per transaction, but I'm looking at 3 months of transactions. So I would divide the 3 months of transactions divided by 3 to get the average number of transactions per month, and then multiply it by $3. But because it's 3 and 3, it's pretty simple. If for real estate investors, I do charge extra for class tracking. So I will charge $4 per month for real estate investors. So do the same calculation, count up all the transactions, multiply it by 4. That's the monthly bookkeeping cost. And there's a minimum, $250, $300. So even if they only have 50 transactions per month, you might think, oh, $150. But I still charge the minimum, $250 per month. That's the minimum. Just because the amount of work that it takes to log into people's QuickBooks every week, correspond, answer emails, talk to them on the phone, help them through problems, tax and bookkeeping problems, reconcile their accounts, it's just not worth it for $150. So just make a minimum $200, $250, $300 per month. Develop a good pricing strategy. And develop a system that enables you to quote people quickly. Don't take a week to quote somebody. Get their statements, get invited to their QuickBooks, send them out a quote. Real quick, just want to let you know, I've got links in the description of this video. If you made it this far, you're probably pretty interested in starting a bookkeeping business. I made a course just for you. It teaches you everything you need to know. You can sign up for that course in the description of this video. And I've also got links, and I've got a weekly meeting every Monday at 3 p.m. Me and 30 other bookkeepers meet for a support group and accountability group. Check out all the links. I also have a 30-day social media marketing strategy guide that's for sale on my website. Check that out. Tons of great resources for you. A couple more points here. I'm just going to go through them real quick and then I'll go into more detail. Build out your client pipeline, manage your time wisely, personal financial planning, stay legally compliant, and continuous learning. So we've got like 5 more points to go through. Hopefully this stuff's helpful, guys. Okay, build your client pipeline. Start networking and marketing early. Like I said before, you have to wear multiple hats as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. And marketing is the hardest part about starting a bookkeeping business. Honestly, learning QuickBooks, figuring out how to do bookkeeping, like learning bookkeeping fundamentals and basic accounting concepts, much easier relatively to marketing, sales, networking, getting your first 5 clients. I promise that's going to be the hard part. So start networking, start marketing early. As soon as you decide to start doing a bookkeeping business, you can learn QuickBooks and bookkeeping simultaneously while you start marketing. Check out last week's video. I teach you my social media marketing strategy. Watch that video. I break down everything you need to know about social media marketing. Highly recommend, but start early. Start earlier than you think you might need to. And you can just be totally honest. That's the really cool thing about social media marketing. Just go on Facebook, go on LinkedIn, start making posts. Hey, everybody, just decided to start a bookkeeping business. Just talk about hey, everybody, just started studying for my QuickBooks Certified Pro Advisor exam. Hey, I'm learning some new bookkeeping fundamentals. If anybody needs help with their QuickBooks, reach out to me. Just start talking about what's going on in your own personal entrepreneur journey. And that's marketing material right there. Just keep it simple. Manage your time wisely. This is really tough as an entrepreneur because you don't have a boss. There's no manager, there's no coworker, there's no weekly huddles, there's no daily meetups. Nobody is holding you accountable. You're not clocking in and out. You're not getting a performance review from your manager. There's no SOP from your operations team. You got to learn how to manage your time wisely. You have to balance admin work for your own bookkeeping company, marketing to try to get new clients, and then you also have to balance like the actual fulfillment, like actually doing the bookkeeping. So just to kind of frame, whenever I got started, I was spending 1, maybe 2 hours per day bookkeeping, and then I was spending 4 to 6 hours per day on marketing. And I did that for about 6 months. And then it slowly transitioned maybe 3 to 4 hours per day bookkeeping, 3 to 4 hours per day marketing. Now it's totally flipped. Now I probably do 7 to 8 hours a day of bookkeeping and 1 to 2 hours a day of marketing, which is just natural. In the beginning, you don't have too many clients. You're going to spend more time marketing. 2 years down the road, you've got 30, 40 clients, less time marketing, more time bookkeeping. Learn how to manage your time. Financial planning. You want to make sure that you save some money in the beginning because as an entrepreneur, there are highs and there are lows. It's a roller coaster, not only a roller coaster of emotions, but also a roller coaster of financial stability. So I recommend 3 to 6 months of expenses saved up before you quit your job. Don't quit your job right away. It all depends, of course, what phase of life are you in? Are you single, right out of high school or college? Are you 40, married with 4 kids? Are you 70 and retired, empty nesters, no kids, house paid off? Totally depends on your personal situation. Generally speaking, if you have a full-time job right now, don't quit your job right away. Save up 3 to 6 months of expenses and also try the bookkeeping business thing. If you have a full-time job, spend 1 hour a day, 4 hours on the weekend. Try to get your first client. Try to get your first 5 clients before you quit your full-time job. For me, I started in October, Got my first client in December, quit my full-time job in March. So 5-6 months from start to finish. Stay legally compliant. Get a contract, a client agreement. I have a contract for sale at my website. It's linked in the description, harrisburgbookkeeping.com/store. I've got a client agreement for sale, or you could probably make your own or get one maybe from rocketlawyer.com or some website like that. But just have a contract that just outlines everything that you think might come up. It's great for transparency, and it helps alleviate frustration and confusion down the road. So just get a 2-page legal client agreement. Consider getting insurance. I have errors and omissions insurance. And then also tax planning for yourself, not for your clients, but for yourself. You have to pay quarterly taxes. You've got to file a Schedule C with your individual income tax return. Maybe you're an S Corp or a partnership. Now you've got to file a corporate tax return in March. Maybe you've got payroll. You've got payroll processing fees and payroll tax returns, sales tax potentially. You got to learn how to stay legally compliant as an entrepreneur. Last thing, continuous learning. You got to stay up to date with tax laws, not only for your clients, but also for your own business. Things change constantly, every year. The standard deduction changes, the standard mileage rate changes, tax laws, depreciation laws change. Tax laws are constantly changing. Also, bookkeeping trends, class tracking, project tracking, tags in QuickBooks, and general business skills like social media, artificial intelligence, leveraging ChatGPT, leveraging websites like Canva or Dropbox, Google OneDrive, Google Drive, Microsoft OneDrive, bookkeeping software. QuickBooks is constantly changing. So just continue to learn, continue to stay up to date on everything that's changing with the internet, with software, with the IRS, with bookkeeping, with business. There's a lot going on. There's a lot to manage, but I know you can do it. Hopefully these videos are helpful. Once again, my name's Zach Pasquarello. I'm making these videos because if you can't tell already, I love talking about this stuff, and I hope you enjoy learning. Check out all the links in the description of this video. Subscribe because I'm putting out new videos every week. I'll see you all next time.